Hello everyone, welcome back. It's been a really long time since Eagle Moss went defunct, and I have not had any ships to share with you, but that has now changed thanks to FanHome Collection launching their new Star Trek official Starships collection. It's essentially the same branding as the Eagle Moss collection, the former Eagle Moss collection, only this time it is now run by FanHome Collections, which do similar jobs and similar collections like Eagle Moss did with the Building Enterprise, the DeLorean, Ecto-1, Millennium Falcon, Power Rangers Megazord, among other things. But they do have a new Star Trek Starships collection, which launched back in, I believe it was October or November. And the first ship, the USS Titan, I got in late November because apparently FanHome uses this weird OSM shipping service that takes what essentially amounts to about a couple of weeks before it even gets to your state, which is really bizarre. And rather than bore you with all of the logistic details of how long it took to receive it and why, let me just dive right in. So here it is, issue number 1, the USS Titan, seen from season 3 of Star Trek Picard. Probably the best season of modern Star Trek since the Rick Berman era. And as you can see, it's a nice looking box with an indication of what the model and ship will look like inside. The side of the box has the ship at warp or traveling what appears to be at warp, and the Star Trek Starships Collection logo, which seems to be the new logo or branding for most things that come out now in this era of Star Trek's merchandising, I guess. And on the side, it just simply says FanHome, and on the other side is the same. This other side of the box basically showing a nice image or profile of the ship. So yeah, so let's dive right into it. Take this up. And of course, you have your welcome letter, which basically saying the journey begins here. We know that you will enjoy this amazing collection as much as we did developing it. And then of course it's just a letter, a pre-printed letter, not personal or personalized, telling you to look forward to this new collection and so on. So, and of course it comes with the magazine. So I'm going to put this box aside and let's take a look at the magazine. All right, and here is the magazine for the USS Titan, NCC-80102-A. But before I jump right into it, first thing I want to point out is that the magazine seems to be somewhat, at least the size of it, appears to be somewhat in the middle compared to the way the Eagle Moss ones were. Just by comparison, here is the Eagle Moss normal size magazine from back in the day, right? And then if you really want to take it a step further, you know, here are the shuttlecraft magazines, so that's a little bit smaller, so it's somewhat in the middle. And then I think this magazine is more along the size or along the lines of the magazines that came with some of the later models that Eagle Moss put out towards the end of their production, or the end of their run. Things like the Jupiter Station, I think some of the ships like the Klingon tanker, Kazon ship, and some other ones that came in late in along their line. And for comparison with that, here is the Jupiter Station magazine, and it's still a little bit smaller than the FanHome magazine, and it's also, in terms of its width, it's a little bit smaller even with that. So yeah, just so you have an idea of how or where this magazine places in size, let's dive right in. So you've got a nice image of the ship on the cover, which has been seen all over the promotional materials for this collection. On the back, it just has the Star Trek logo, and you open it right up, and much like my other reviews in the past, you'll see that the magazine format for this remains pretty much more or less the same. The opening page just has all the copyright, company information, and essentially a quick diagram showing you how to attach the model to the stand that is included. And just looking at the stats, we have the USS Titan NCC-80102-A Constitution 3 class, commissioned in 2396, 560.5 meters long. Captain Liam Shaw, weaponry phasers, photon torpedoes. I'm surprised there weren't at least quantum torpedoes or those transphasic torpedoes at this point in Star Trek's timeline. And deflectors and metaphasic shields for its defenses. We turn the page and another gorgeous image of the ship right there. Too bad it's sort of split or ruined by the center of the magazine, though I understand why they did it. And we have a little bit of the history, the in-universe history of the ship, which mostly concerns, or pretty much all concerns, Picard Season 3. The 10 episodes of that show, which are fantastic, I think. Not without its problems, but still good. And we have the, what I used to call the centerfold page, or the diagram page, showing you where all the various components are. But curiously, the actual diagrams, or the, I guess, the comments or the margins, the comments in the side aisles, the side margins are missing. So it's just showing you different views of the ship, essentially. We don't really know exactly what they are, but any Star Trek fan should know that these are the nacelles, the shuttle bay. I think there's an additional shuttle bay back there. I'm not entirely sure. I have to look at it. There's the deflector dish, phaser arrays, main bridge, a lot of RCS thrusters around, shield emitters, transporter emitters, tractor beams, and so on. And then we have the designing of the USS Titan A, which I kind of was looking forward to reading, and I enjoyed it. It talks about the design process and why they chose to do this. One of the things that always kind of surprised me is that they chose such a retro design for the ship. And despite the fact that I love the Titan and I love the design of this ship, I still think it would have been, I still think it would have been better to make it look more like the original USS Titan, the Luna class Titan, that Riker was in charge of. But according to the in-canon history, pieces of that Titan are built into, or were built into this one. But yeah, this shows how they designed it, a lot of history with that. And it was based off of a model that someone built, a while back. Although personally, I would love to see this in model form, particularly with the movie style, the motion picture era, Wrath of Khan era nacelles there. And we got some more CG renderings of the ship there. And I think the name of that ship was called the USS Shangri-La. Interesting. And then more on the history. Now, one of the things that I noticed, and I think the Stargazer magazine mentioned something similar, is that when they were designing the warp nacelles, they were going to go along the lines of something like the Sovereign class, which I wish they did. I really wish they did. I love that look of the nacelles that the Sovereign class had, and I think a couple other ships like the Equinox and other ships that had similar looking nacelles like that. I just think that looked more futuristic or more forward thinking and going with the more boxy look that we ended up getting. And that the first appearance of these types of nacelles actually appeared on the USS Titan, not USS Titan, the USS Stargazer A, or Stargazer, back in season 2 of Picard, the beginning of season 2. And that effect seems to have been replicated again for the Titan A. And then we get some finished renderings there of the ship. Looks gorgeous. And more of that and more history. And pretty much the magazine concludes just like that. The one difference between this magazine and the Eagle Moss one is that the Eagle Moss ones usually ended with an appearance page that told you when the ship appeared, what episodes it appeared in, or films. Similar, kind of like this, you know. You get like a brief bio of when it appeared, who were the guest stars, or what, anything like that. This one just sort of like ends with no real fanfare, and that's okay. It doesn't add or subtract anything. So yeah, that's pretty much the magazine, and now let's dive into the model itself. All right, and here it is, the USS Titan A. Wow, look at that. A really nice looking model here. There's your saucer section. A lot of people had complaints about this sort of grainy look. I actually like it. It adds to the level of detail, I think. And my font is nice, clear, and crisp. No smudges or anything. USS Titan, NCC-80102-A. Got your phaser strips there. RCS thrusters. Running lights. Your main bridge. The underside looks good. My font is still crisp there, although these two, what looks to be in the movie or in the show, removable panels, it kind of gets in the way of that, but that's okay. It's just part of it. The dorsal section looks good. Got a stripe there, which kind of surprising that there's no Starfleet pendant. I don't see it here on the model, and I don't recall seeing it on screen as well. That's something that would have been nice to add to really bring it back into, you know, the style of ships from the 24th century, where we might get a stripe on the nacelles and it might say United Federation of Planets or something on it, and it would have been nice to kind of have that here. But I don't think that was on the studio model or the digital rendering of it. And there looks to be a docking port there, much like the refit Enterprise / Enterprise A. And it looks to be the shape of the Vulcan transport ship, which is interesting. Everything appears to be in one piece. This model arrived intact. I was happy about that. It's primarily metal. The saucer section is mostly metal. The top metal is the top portion, the bottom part. This is plastic. So all of this is metal, and this center section is plastic. The dorsal section is plastic. The secondary hull is also plastic. And then the cells are plastic. And like the Eagle Moss ones, you can see the clear blue through there, which is nice. Always like when they do that. This is a very detailed model. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, although some of my excitement was sort of evaporated because it took so long for it to get here. It took so long to get from Kansas to Los Angeles, like 2 or 3 weeks or more, which is really bizarre to me. And the Stargazer also took a while to get here. I guess that just seems to be the new trend for these things. The impulse engines are not clear plastic or anything. They're painted like an orange color. Mine here looks like the paint is almost incomplete. It's like they stuck the brush in there as kind of like as far as they could get. And they look like they missed a couple of spots, but that's okay. The shuttle bay looks good. It says Titan. Detail looks pretty nice. I guess it would have been nice to have, even though the lines are present, it would have been nice to maybe kind of like add a little bit more detail to make it stick out or stand out more. You can definitely see the Constitution class influences here. And overall, it's a fantastic model. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with it. It sits in your hand about that much, so it's a pretty big model. The models in this collection appear to be a lot larger than the EagleMoss ones. More in line of the ships or the models that we got toward the end of EagleMoss's run, like I mentioned, the Jupiter Station, or this is like a cross between the XLs and the original normal size. So we're looking at kind of like the, I don't know what, the mid-range, kind of like the Titan or the USS Cerritos, which I never did get, among other things. So yeah, it's a pretty decent size and the detail is pretty good. The deflector dish, I forgot to mention, is also clear and it really kind of sticks out, especially when you hold it up to the light. The deflector dish reminds me of the Excelsior class. And it's a nice big piece of blue plastic that's stuck in there, so it really sticks out. It's a really nice and neat design. The look and feel of the ship really grew on me as the show progressed. Though, spoiler alert, I don't think it was probably the best idea to turn this into the Enterprise G. It seems like a step back in terms of its design and things like that. I would have gone for a more aerodynamic look. I mean, how do you go from the Enterprise E, the Sovereign class Enterprise E, to the Odyssey class Enterprise F, back to this? So I think they could have done something, at least made the nacelles look different. I liked it. I like this look, but I don't think this is Enterprise material. Let's just put it that way. And I also think that it disrespected the legacy of Riker and his command of the ship for however long he was in charge of the original Luna class Titan. So yeah, this model is great. I'm really happy with it. It set me back about $40-something, I think, because I subscribed to the collection. If you subscribe, you will get them slightly cheaper than if you order them from the, I guess, their web shop. And unlike EagleMoss, they're not launched immediately on the web shop. The subscribers get their dibs first, and once they resolve any defects or, any defective products and things like that, then they will put whatever's left in stock on the web store for people to purchase, and they will be slightly more expensive. I don't remember exactly how much more expensive, maybe $20 or $25 more if my memory serves me correct. But you can find that information on FanHome's website. And I think this collection is only available in the US, here in the US, and in the UK. So if you happen to live in either of these places, then you are in luck. Otherwise, unfortunately, you'll have to resort to other means to getting a hold of it. And this is issue 1. I'm glad they chose to start with the Titan, because this is one that I really wanted since I saw Picard season 3. And I remember writing Terry Metalis asking, please have somebody make a model. I really want it. We all really want it. And then they finally came through. So that's bravo to them. And much like EagleMoss, before I get too sidetracked here, they do come with a stand, which are pretty much the exact same stand that EagleMoss came with. The only significant difference being the bottom does not have that plastic or that sticker, foil sticker, telling you the ship or what ship the stand belongs to, in case you get them misplaced or you mix them up at some point in the future if you're moving or packing things up. So that's the only thing that's weird. But yeah, here's the plastic gadoolie that goes in there just like that. And the model, if I remember, clamps to the saucer section like so. So yeah, folks, here we have it. The USS Titan NCC-80102-A from FanHome Collections, new Star Trek Starships collection. I highly would recommend it. If you love Picard Season 3 and you love Star Trek Starships in general, please go out and get this. It's definitely worth it. So yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. Welcome back. As I get these things, I'll be happy to share them with you. And I hope you'll stick around for that. And if you have any questions or comments or anything about it, please drop me a line down there somewhere, and I'll try to respond as quickly as I see them. So until next time, guys, live long and prosper. Be safe, especially out there in this troubled world. And here in Los Angeles, we are still dealing with the aftermath, or the winding down or aftermath of the LA wildfires here. So it's a little bit chaotic as far as things in the city are concerned. But other than that, I'm safe, I'm well, and everything is fine on my end. And until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later. All right, bye-bye.